Welcome back to the Gridiron Address. This was a substantially longer hiatus than I wanted to be, but had to come back for the biggest game of the year. We have the Patriots making an insane turnaround after going 3-14 last year. Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, in the Super Bowl in his first season in New England. Great stuff there. Sam Darnold proving all the doubters wrong yet again. Proved me wrong. I was not expecting them to be this good in Seattle. Massive props to them, but Jason, Shannon, Chris, appreciate y'all coming on. Let's just jump right into it. And because we missed so much time, we couldn't talk about a lot of stuff that happened later in the season. But first, let's kick it off with the NFL honors. Starting off with Matthew Stafford, who won MVP. Jason, I'll throw it to you first. This feels like it was incredibly deserved for him to win MVP, but we're just going to go down the list. Do you think this was a deserved MVP for Matt Stafford?
It definitely was. He was the most consistent QB because I still think this is a QB award. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're ever going to get a running back or a wide receiver is going to get MVP again. But Matt Stafford was phenomenal this year. 37 years old to be playing the way he has. He has those Rams. They looked phenomenal. It was hard not to give him. I knew it was going to be close between him and Drake May. I still think you throw CMC in that mix, JSN in that mix too, because those guys were both really important to their squads. But yeah, Matthew Stafford, phenomenal season. Definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got to give it to him. So love it. I don't think you can argue against it.
Without a doubt, a Hall of Famer. Shannon, do you think Matt Stafford deserved to win MVP this year?
First and foremost, I can't stand it because it's a Ram that won it. But with all that being said, I don't want to be the person that says that, and I don't want to be that guy because it is well deserved. Matthew Stafford did deserve it, but this was probably one of the closest MVP races that we've had in a while. I wouldn't have been hurt if Sam Darnold would have won it, or I wouldn't have been hurt if Drake May would have won it, either or. But if you look at all three with what Matthew Stafford has went through this year, I would have to say he has to be the one because the NFC West was a very tough division to find out who was going to win it because there were three teams that went to the playoffs out of it. He had to go through all of that with those teams, and they were very, very tough. My 49ers involved, my Seattle Seahawks that are in there. Unfortunately, Seattle going to the Super Bowl. But, the fact that he had to go through all of that, and it still went down to the wire. Looking at Drake May, who many thought had an easy way of going with the season with a horrible division that he played, not outside of Buffalo, with the bottom two teams that were really bottom two teams in the Jets and the Dolphins. I feel like that probably would have been bought up if he would have won. And then with Sam Darnold having Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was just incredible this year. But even though Puka Nacua does play for the Rams, with Matthew Stafford's age being another thing, that's also something that can be involved. But, I'm with Jason. We ain't got to give it to a quarterback every year. But this year, I got to say, I get why Matthew Stafford won, so it makes sense.
And Chris, do you think Stafford deserved to win? Is there a player you would have liked to see get a nod for MVP?
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Jason and Shannon making the points about the quarterback's only award at this point. The last non-quarterback MVP was 2012 Adrian Peterson. But Matt Stafford, shout out to him, 4,707 passing yards, 46 TDs to 8 interceptions. Really managed to put his team on his shoulders. I do think objectively Drake May did a lot more for his own team just because the Rams have a lot more offensive pieces, especially when you've got like Puka Nacua, one of the best receivers in the game. But, again, CMC, Bijan Robinson, all of them, they're there. But the problem is that the quarterback position, as we always say, is the most important position in all of football, and that's what's going to end up winning it. I personally would go for Stafford just because the stats are more impressive, but I objectively think Drake May did more for his team simply because Stafford has way more weapons than May has. But that's kind of a theme for the Patriots, as for years, even going back to their Brady Super Bowl wins.
And if we want to take a very literal definition of MVP, I think you could twist an argument for Christian McCaffrey because he was that 49ers entire offense.
He's the only one that stayed healthy all year, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that 49ers team was
And they were making bets on him getting
decimated.
hurt. They were making bets on him getting hurt.
Oof.
I mean, really, yes.
Straight up mash unit of that 49ers team.
Yeah, and with that McCaffrey mention, we'll segue into comeback player of the year. I feel like this is obvious. Shannon, I'll throw it to you first since you're the 49ers fan. McCaffrey deserved to win comeback player of the year, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Christian McCaffrey was the offense with the revolving door at the quarterback position with the injuries going on at the quarterback position and everywhere else. I really think it's an inside job with my 49ers. I think that that's what they're doing. There should be a RICO investigation going on with my 49ers of how these guys get hurt around the same time, almost every time. I don't understand. It hurts me. But if there's anybody that deserved it, Christian McCaffrey played incredible, was the passing game, was the receiving game and the running game all in one, all-purpose yards. He's like my new version of Roger Craig, who, by the way, should get in the hall. But that's what he done because his all-purpose, he kept that offense going. That offense was going. CMC was either getting one of those touchdowns or two of them or whatever. It's just he was an integral part of that offense. CMC comeback player of the year with the injuries he's went through, with the tribulation, not thinking that he was going to be the same player after last year, but he was that and then some this year. Definitely comeback player of the year. Great job, CMC. Yes.
And Chris, do you think CMC deserved to win it?
Yeah, I mean, based on his stats, how he performed, finally having a healthy year, which is really, really good for him. I do really want to point out one comeback player of the year that went through a little bit less adversity injury-wise, but still did. I mean, he got injured last year, only playing 10 games. Trevor Lawrence only getting 2 votes was interesting to me. 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,007-yard passing yard season. And Lawrence, again, finally showing that number 1 pick energy there. I think him finishing in like 4th or 5th place is honestly insulting because Lawrence, man, after playing 10 games, now he played a full season, getting the Jags to the playoffs. Honestly, 50-50 game between them and Buffalo. That Jags team was one step away, in my opinion, from being in the Patriots spot right now in the Super Bowl. So Trevor Lawrence, I think Lawrence should have it should have been a lot closer than it was between Lawrence and CMC, but I do objectively agree with Shannon that he should have still won it, but Lawrence deserves more credit.
And Jason, do you agree with the panel that CMC was far and away the most deserving winner?
I do. I mean, it's hard not to. Look, he was the only player in my eyes. He was up for 3 of them. Comeback player of the year, MVP, offensive player of the year. I mean, if you look what he meant to that team, we thought he was dead. I mean, we didn't even think he was going to play football. Hell, we didn't even think he was going to walk. Like they were making it sound like he would never walk again, let alone play football. So phenomenal job. I do agree with Chris. I think Trevor Lawrence definitely did not get enough shine. He looked horrendous last year. For him to bounce back and have a better year. So shout out Duval. I at least get to say that today. But yeah, CMC, man, that guy, phenomenal year, Hall of Famer, needed to get some MVP votes too, offensive player of the year votes. He was literally the San Francisco 49ers. So, yep, can't fight against that.
Yeah, and moving on, another one that I felt was pretty clear as well, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba winning offensive player of the year. Jason, do you agree with this, or would you like to see it go to a Puka Nacua or a Christian McCaffrey?
Look, Jackson Smith and Jigba had probably one of the greatest seasons a wide receiver can have. I mean, he had 1,793 yards, 10 touchdowns, Seattle Seahawks all-time receiving record. And look at some of the great receivers that Seattle has had, Steve Largent, etc. So no, Puka, he's ridiculous. great player. You had a lot of other players. Again, CMC offensively was phenomenal. But man, Jackson Smith and Jigba had a great season, but I still think it should have been CMC. Look, as great as a season as Jackson Smith and Jigba had, CMC ran for over 1,200 yards, caught over 924 yards passing, 102 receptions. So you're talking about over 2,100 yards from scrimmage and 17 touchdowns. So if you're comparing those two, I still would have gave the nod to CMC. Look, I get it. Jackson Smith and Jigba just vaulted out of the shadow of DK Metcalf. We all thought at the beginning of the season, we're like, okay, questioning, okay, is Jackson Smith and Jigba going to be a number one receiver? How's he going to pair with Sam Darnold? They became ridiculous as a prolific pass and catcher right there. And then Jackson Smith squashed any questions about him being number one receiver. So I give him props for that. But when it comes to offensive player in the year, CMC was the offense for a whole team. Ridiculous. There are starting running backs and starting wide receivers that didn't have as many yards as CMC had. So I kind of agree with why they gave it to him. He had a phenomenal season. He's in the Super Bowl. But I still think CMC got a little shortchanged in this. I think he should have been Offensive Player of the Year too. Just he had a phenomenal season.
And Shannon, I'll throw it to you next. Do you agree with what Jason said that CMC should have deserved it after carrying that 49ers offense?
He drives a hard bargain. I agree too. I felt like CMC should have won Offensive Player of the Year. But once again, it's all about making sense. Jackson Smith and Jigba did have one of the best receiving years of any receiver, and there was doubt about that young man. With DK Metcalf being gone with a new quarterback, so I do understand why he won it. But once again, CMC had to fight his own body this whole year in order to do it. Not just the defenses; he had to fight his own daggone body because my man was broke down. They didn't think that he was going to be back. So I do. So I would love to have seen CMC win both awards because Comeback Player of the Year, of course, that was a no-brainer. And CD Luke, I do agree with you. Trevor Lawrence should have got a little bit more love than what he got, especially with how Jacksonville did this year. But again, CMC had of all the players that got hurt, everyone was looking for CMC to be on that injury report. And no matter what week it was, they were waiting on that. And he was not. George Kittle was on there. Fred Warner got hurt for the season. So many things, so many players that we didn't think were going to get hurt got hurt. And the one guy that everybody thought was going to get hurt played all season. And he played well. And he was one of the reasons why my guys went 12-5. So I got to say, I'm disappointed CMC didn't win this. But then again, I get why Jackson Smith and Jigba did. No disrespect to me, young man. He my cousin a little bit, even though he's with Seattle. Yeah. But my man played his tail off. He balled out. He's in the Super Bowl. Good job.
And Chris, do you think Christian McCaffrey should have gotten it? I think, to me, this is a case of you have two players who are absolutely deserving of winning it. You can't really go wrong giving it to either one of them. But Chris, who do you think should have won Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, both it's consistency. I mean, that is the one big take I will say about both CMC and JSN's case is that it's consistency. I am leaning JSN for a very simple reason in this pick because of the fact that he's a wide receiver, and that is a lot harder to be consistent. Obviously, CMC was consistent health-wise and performance-wise, but JSN doing this just I mean, this is every Sunday or Thursday he was going out there and doing this. Really just one bad game against Minnesota back in November with only 23 receiving yards, no touchdowns. But some of these games, I mean, he is going 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row, 150 yards plus, 120 yards plus, multiple touchdowns. Had a pretty good game against Pittsburgh, against my Steelers there at the 103 yards. But again, just doing this week in and week out as a receiver, even though it's not a ridiculously crowded receiver room in the Seahawks locker room with Cooper Kupp being there, but still, to everyone else's point, stepped in for DK Metcalf, looked really good, and again, doing it from that position is impressive.
Without a doubt. And moving on to Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. I mean, I don't even really feel like we need to say anything about it.
No.
Single season sack
Done.
record.
Yeah,
Guy's
done.
an absolute dog. Wish he played for a different team, though. Wish he didn't re-sign with Cleveland. I want to see that man win a Super Bowl because he is so good. But yeah, hate to brush past Myles Garrett like that, but there's nothing to discuss because who else is winning it?
The only thing I really say about that is I wish there was an award that Will Anderson could win. That's about it, because Will Anderson had a pretty solid year. Obviously, nothing compared to him. He didn't deserve the award. I just wish there was something that Will Anderson could have got, because he deserves a shout out here too.
Yeah, Pat Surtain once again. Pat Surtain had another good year, but I'd probably say those are 1, 2, and 3. But the obvious winner is who we had.
Without a doubt. And something I forgot to put in the rundown was Joe Thuney won the first Protector of the Year award.
Yeah.
NFL Honors finally have something to acknowledge offensive line. I love that. Just want to give a huge shout out to that. I love that that's an award now, and I look forward to seeing a whole lot more of that. It is really awesome. Moving on to Offensive Rookie of the Year, Teteroa McMillan. The Panthers have an Offensive Rookie of the Year. Good Lord. This feels amazing. I'm loving it. Jason, do you agree with McMillan winning this, or should it have gone to somebody else? Because I know Jackson Dart was a potential candidate there as well, in addition to Tyler Shutt of the Saints.
Had to also throw Trevion Henderson in there for the New England Patriots. Had a really good year. And this was Emeka Mbuka's award to lose, and he ended up losing it because he wasn't as consistent. Look, Tet McMillan earned it coming because he finished the year so much stronger than all the rest of these guys. Henderson was kind of sharing reps there with Stevenson in New England. So it's hard to kind of give it to him because he wasn't as consistent. But from start to end, Teteroa McMillan definitely deserved the award. I was just disappointed in Emeka Mbuka. When the first 3-4 games, he came out of there like a cannon. We thought this guy was going to be a hands-down no-brainer. But then that Bucs offense just kind of tanked and fell apart. So he kind of lost it. And, of course, get injuries, etc. But, yeah, Tet McMillan, he is going to be a lot of fun for you guys there in Carolina, as long as they get him the ball. So we'll see what Young does moving forward with him. But, it's hard not to give it to him. Jackson Dart, just too many injuries. Didn't really start the season, just came in to kind of replace. I'm excited for him moving forward. And I think the Giants, fingers crossed, we got a lot of good things coming up. So, but yeah, love it.
Sean in the comments saying McMillan earned it 1,000%. Appreciate you commenting, Sean. Chris, do you agree that Tet McMillan was the clear Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, especially like Jason said, that was kind of my notes. I had a lot about Mbuka here, how he started, especially. I mean, I thought he was going to win the MVP. I thought he was going to be the one to be the first non-quarterback to win the MVP since 2012. But even with Mike Evans going down, even with Godwin not, recovering, I mean, obviously horrific injury he had, that Bucs offense, that was just in general. Tampa Bay, I'll be talking about them a little bit later in the show, more than likely, but yeah, definitely deserved it.
And Shannon, do you agree with the panel that T-Mac was far and away the most deserving?
Talk about lightning striking twice. Carolina kicks Tampa Bay out of the playoffs and then takes the Offensive Rookie of the Year award from them. This is wonderful. I love it, but I digress. Teteroa McMillan was a receiver that I really loved in college. I thought he was going to be a great receiver. I was like, whoever drafts this young man, they're going to have a stud. And Carolina drafted him, and I freaked out. I was like, heck yeah, I can cover this guy now with the Tobacco Sports Radio. So Ted Aurora deserved it. It was Emeka Buka's award to lose. It really was. I agree with Jason and I agree with Chris on that one. It was his record. It was his award to lose, and injury happened, inconsistent play happened on the offense. But the fact that Ted Aurora was integral on this offense, especially in that passing game, he was a factor in every game. When you're the number one receiver and you're a rookie, and then of course they have to put more bodies on you as a rookie, that says a lot. I have a little trouble calling him T-Mac because I grew up with Tracy McGrady. That's what happens when you get older as a fan. So Ted Aurora, I love the name Ted Aurora. You know, I'm pretty sure Jason understands that when LaDainian Tomlinson started getting called LT and he had the original LT in New York, I'm pretty sure it was hard for him too. But
hey, the Ted Arono's mama came up, said, "Say that's my son's name." So when mama says that's his name, you call him by his name. So you don't mess with mama.
I love it. Yes.
Don't mess with mama.
So Terror McMillan, well deserved. Good job, my man.
And defensive rookie of the year, there's a little bit more debate about this one. Carson Schweisinger ended up winning it. I think that's deserved. I think he had a phenomenal year in Cleveland. Did not play like a rookie. He exceeded expectations, especially for a second-round draft pick. Jason, I know he was not your pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year, so I'll throw this to you first. Who do you think deserved to win this?
This was tough. I mean, you know, he had a great year. Unfortunately, he's in the news right now for the wrong reasons, but James Pierce Jr., 10.5 sacks for the Falcons. Falcons, very disappointing season altogether, so I think that probably had something to do with it too. So unfortunate that I don't know what's going to go on with him moving forward. But what was the other one? Nick Emenwari in the Super Bowl now. I think he had a phenomenal year for the Seahawks. That Seahawks defense is back, and I think he has a big part to do with it. So it's hard not to give it to Schlesinger. He definitely played outstanding. I think he's going to be a tackle machine moving forward. So I don't hate the pick. I was really, really, really hoping that Abdul Carter would have been up in this mix. But a very disappointing performance from the Giants defense this year, altogether as a squad, I think had something to do with that too. So hopefully he can have a bounce back year next year, but I don't hate the pick. So that's what I got. And
Chris, who do you think deserved to win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, this one was really close, but I mean, the big thing you got to say here is, I mean, 2 interceptions, a linebacker, really impressive. Nick Emenwari also with a good year. Abdul Carter, I expected more out of him. I know, Aaron, you were really big on him as well. I believe Abdul Carter was probably my pick for it in the preseason, but again, kind of took a step back. The Giants were, started hot, kind of weird this year. We won't even get into that, unfortunately, for Jason's mental health sake. But anyway, I think it was probably one of the more closer awards, that MVP. But yeah, Schweisinger deserving it, especially with a Cleveland team like that. And the last point I'll make about that is I really hope the Browns can finally do something with that defense. Obviously, crazy St. Steelers fan, but Myles Garrett, Schweisinger, a lot of good names there. So hopefully they can build around that defense, make it better.
And Shannon, who do you think deserved to win it?
I think Carson had it. The James Pierce thing helped, but I really think Carson benefited being a very good linebacker. Of course, when you got Myles Garrett just putting their quarterback on the ground and, doing it frequently. And Carson's got good coaching over there on defense over in Cleveland. Cleveland's got a very good defense with him being a starter also too, coming out in the second round and playing the way that he played. I like his field vision. I like what he does at the linebacker spot. You can put him at either weak side, strong side, regardless. He's going to make plays. Good young man. Very, very good defensive player. Very good linebacker. Go for it. That was good. I like the pick.
And last but not least, we have Coach of the Year. Mike Vrabel won it. I think this was deserved. There are a lot of guys you could give it to, Liam Cohen being one of them. Shannon, I'll throw it to you first. Who do you think should have won Coach of the Year?
This was tough, but I think you got to give it to Vrabel. Great turnaround from last year, playing in the NFC East. I know they had two bad teams in there, the Jets and the Dolphins, but winning against the MVP last year and Josh Allen, which was supposed to be his year, especially with Kansas City, not doing what they were doing. This was supposed to be Josh Allen's year to get to the Super Bowl finally, and it didn't happen. So, and the Patriots were a part of that, and they wanted Mike Vrabel first anyway. It was only a matter of time before Mike Vrabel went back to Foxborough, where he made his name. Mike Vrabel, a very, very good coach, and defensively, that defense played very, very well underneath him as well, being a defensive coach. He knows what he's doing. The culture is there. The owner and the GM, everybody was like, this is our guy. They wanted Mike Vrabel. They got him. Look what Mike Vrabel has done. Hey, I get it. I understand.
And Jason, do you agree with Vrabel winning Coach of the Year, or do you think it should have gone to somebody else?
Well, first of all, I'm going to shout out these tacos. These are my MVP right now because I'm just loving on these tacos right now. So, but anyway, I digress. Football and food. There's nothing better on Super Bowl Sunday. So, I agree. They were 4-13 last year, so a heck of a turnaround. He's turned Drake May into a superstar. I mean, literally, this guy just all right. Shout out North Carolina here. I would have loved to put Kyle Shanahan in there. Again, I got to shout out the 49ers. Literally, everybody on that team hurt for what he did to get that team to 12-5. And in the playoff was phenomenal job. I don't think he gets enough credit how good of a coach he really is. And then Ben Johnson for the Bears. I mean, the Bears were 5-12 last year too. For him to turn around, make Caleb Williams into a viable quarterback. We were kind of thinking, okay, is Caleb Williams going to be something special, or is he going to turn into another Justin Fields? So Ben Johnson jumping in there for the Bears, I think should have got some considerations. Excuse me, but I can see Vrabel. Look, he turned this team around from worst to first. They're in the Super Bowl. You can't fight that, and you can't knock him because a lot of it has to do with his philosophies and what he's done with that team.
Before you go on, Aaron, since we talked about the Patriots, can we not talk about why they hate them now? Can we not talk about that right now? Bill Belichick winning all them Super Bowls. Robert Kraft being architect of this squad and no first ballot Hall of Fame? Really? If Brady don't make it in there on the first ballot,
I didn't know if we were going to get into that, but that's what I
questioned.
Well, how does the kicker get in for the Patriots?
Because
the owner and the coach don't get in, but you let the kicker in. I like it. If that isn't just the bigger insult to everything, I mean, it's like, okay, you make it sound like you're like, okay, we're gonna fault the Patriots as a team, Deflategate, Spygate, whatever gate, rub and tug, whatever you want to pull out. You could pull all these different things out against the Patriots, but Vinatieri, you're okay. We're gonna let you in. Give some love to the kicker. I love it.
Oh man.
But yeah, Chris, do you think that Vrabel deserved to win Coach of the Year?
I do think he deserved votes, but I think without a question, it was Ben Johnson. I mean, what he did with that Chicago Bears team, I don't think there was much of a question. This is one. I do like Mike Vrabel. I thought the Titans were idiotic for hiring him, and that's a major reason why they are where they are. But I mean, the fact of the matter, again, like Jason said, 5-12 to, I believe, an 11 wins season this year, going right down to the wire against the Rams. I was really hoping the Bears were going to win that one, but they're going to be back. There's no question. Caleb Williams may already be an elite quarterback, and it is the definition of what happens when you fire Matt Eberflus. You turn around the team, and the final point that I'll make with this right now is the fact that they did this in the NFC North. You're playing against a Vikings team, a Packers team, and a Lions team that had a down year, I give it, but still very, very good. All four teams could even be argued as division or conference championship contenders in the NFC. And, I'm not going to say that the Patriots had a Mickey Mouse run. I know a lot of people are saying that, but yes, you have the Miami Dolphins, who are in a transition period, had a lot of injuries, fantastic head coach this year, but regardless, and then the New York Jets, which aren't even an NFL team. They're not even, I wouldn't even put them as an NFL team. So
Regulate them.
Question.
Regulate the Jets.
Yeah.
Did
Ben
Caleb
Johnson without a question.
Williams, how many yards did he say that was 4,000 yards?
Yeah, he had over 4,000.
He was going to be the first 4,000-yard quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
It didn't happen.
Or he was close to. He was close, rather. He was right. He will, though.
This year. He was so close.
Yeah.
Close.
He will, though.
Man.
And moving on to the most surprising and disappointing teams of the season. And at the risk of sounding like a little bit of a homer, I'm going to have to say the Carolina Panthers, one of the most surprising teams in the league. Yes, they had a losing record. They still won the NFC South. They still hosted a playoff game. I was not expecting that from Carolina at the start of the season. Really happy with how that went. Chris, I'll throw it to you. Who is your most surprising team of the season?
I'm audible in here because I realized that most of my points I made with the Bears on the Ben Johnson thing. But I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, just with how early they did that, I really think that win on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs in Duval was the turnaround point for them. But Trevor Lawrence, 4,000-yard passing season. He is, by all means of the imagination, he is back. They beat Denver. They beat a really good, at the time, Indianapolis team. And they also did this with Brian Thomas Jr. having a down year. Acquiring Jacoby Myers was that turnaround point. I think especially if Travon Walker, former number one pick, can step up, this Jags team will probably be in this same place they were this year. Them in Houston, that AFC South is going to be fun. Most exciting team going to go with the Jags.
And Jason, who do you think was the most surprising?
This was tough too. I had my top three were Pats, Jags, Bears. Because before we got into this year, there was a lot of questions on those teams. Patriots, is Drake May going to be anything? Mike Vrabel, first year. What's this team going to do? Will they be able to get over the Josh Allen hump? The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence coming off a horrendous year before that. Bunch of injuries, brand new coach, a little drama with the coach going on there. Bears, brand new coach. Is Caleb Williams going to be anything worth it? So I'm going to go Pats. I think when this season began, if you said the New England Patriots were going to be in the Super Bowl this year and Drake May was going to be up for MVP considerations, I think people would have thought you were crazy. So what they have done there in New England, as much as Drake May has progressed into a solid NFL quarterback, didn't really have a rookie year. He only played a few games and then got hurt. So for him to kind of come off and this is his sophomore year, for him to do this and then make it to the Super Bowl, huge surprise. So right now, Pat's my number one for biggest surprise of the year, because I didn't think they were going to win the East, let alone make it to the Super Bowl. So that was my biggest surprise.
And Shannon, who is the most surprising team for you this year?
You know what's really bad is all four of those squads came to my mind here with Pats, with Jags, the Bears, and the Panthers. All four of those are my top four. But I got to go with our hosts. It's got to be the Panthers, because the Panthers, and here's why. Don't give me that look, Jay. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. The Patriots have won so many Super Bowls. They won so many Super Bowls, had a pedigree of winning with the guys who didn't make it to the Hall of Fame in the first ballot. Those guys helped that too. They were there. Jacksonville with their quarterback whispering coach, with Liam Cohen. He did the quarterback whispering. Trevor Lawrence handling biz. He was hurt. All the troubles that he had in Jacksonville. understandable. They beat the Panthers in week 1. So, yes, okay, they were supposed to. According to it, they were supposed to beat the Panthers because the Panthers were who they were. The Bears, yes, everyone talked about Caleb Williams not being the guy, but when he came out, when he was drafted, Caleb Williams is the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. He's the next guy. And he got his coach. So no disrespect there. But it's got to be the Panthers because everyone doubted Bryce Young. They said Bryce was not that good, including myself. He was not that good. But Bryce had the most game-winning drives this year as a quarterback. The running game, Rico Dowdle handled biz, offensive rookie year, and Tedroy McMillan. Derek Brown throwing people at the club every single play. Probably the best defensive player in the NFL that no one really talks about, but he's probably one of the best defensive players. And yeah, okay, I know what you're about to say. They played in a weak division. I get it. But they were not supposed to win that division, and they won that division. It was supposed to be a Baker Mayfield handling biz. He didn't do it. They got hurt, I know, but Baker Mayfield, going back to where he was when he was with Carolina, sorry about that. They didn't do it, but Carolina did. So, yes, Panthers, they had a losing record, I know, but they hosted a playoff game, had an offensive rookie of the year, and they got to the playoffs, and they're building on something. Dan Morgan, you're the real MVP.
Mm-hmm. And look, segue into the most disappointing teams. Shannon, you brought up the Bucs. That's got to be the most disappointing team for me. Them, Kansas City, it's really close. But in a division that week, Tampa really should have won it. They should have had – I was expecting 11, 12 wins out of them. They fell way short. Yes, they dealt with injuries, but still, it's the NFC South. Not a great division, as we saw with a three-way tie for first place with 3 teams at 8 and 9. Insane stuff. I love it, though. I enjoyed it. Jason, who is the most disappointing team in your mind this season?
Well, first of all, I'm probably going to get kicked off the show, but I got to pump the brakes here, guys. Look, I understand you guys are homers in the Panthers. Much love. But 8 and 9, and you're celebrating an 8 and 9 season as a surprise.
Because I thought they'd have 4 or 5 wins. Of course I'm going to celebrate.
I mean, come on, guys. Pump the brakes a little bit here. They barely won. I mean, they won on a coin toss.
How many did they
won?
win?
Doesn't matter.
How many did they win?
Jason, when was the last time the Giants have touched the playoffs?
No, stop! Stop it! No!
I didn't bring my Giants up into this.
Look.
Don't say it!
I told you they're going to cause some trouble. Pump the brakes. All right, we'll go back here, but I digress. All right, my duds of the. I mean, first, my number one has been the Atlanta Falcons. The beginning of the season, I had them playing in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed to say it. They had a really good offense. Look, Bijan Robinson is probably top 3 running backs in the league. I figure, well, they got a new coach. They're going to put Penix Jr. out there. They're going to have a better offense. London, maybe Kyle Pitts will show up. They drafted 2 stud defensive players, and they literally shit the bed. 8 and 9, very disappointed. Unproductive season. Kirk Cousins finishes as your quarterback. They're going to end up releasing him. To me, the Falcons, but Falcons, Chiefs, Lions. Lions, to essentially have your same complement of players offensively to look as bad as they did, it really goes to show how much Ben Johnson meant to that damn team offensively because they looked horrendous. So for them to be 9 and 8 and miss the playoffs, very disappointed. Chiefs, I mean, I know they had some injuries, but, is the Mahomes magic gone? Is the Chiefs dynasty over? Does Mr. Swift retire and fade away into the sunset? So, but Falcons definitely my number one. I thought this team had it. I thought they could end up winning the South, and they looked horrible. They still don't know how to use Bijan Robinson, which just makes absolutely no sense to me. How you can be an offensive coordinator in this league and not know how to use someone as dynamic as him, and not get Drake London the ball. So just very disappointed in how the Falcons overall this season played.
And Chris, who is the most disappointing team in your eyes this season?
Most of them have already kind of been touched on. Kansas City. Number one was actually Atlanta for me, but I'll go talk about a team that's really not been talked about in this show yet. And you guys remember when the Washington Commanders made the NFC Championship game last year? I wasn't going to talk about them that much because a lot of it's not their fault. Obviously, Jaden Daniels being hurt a lot of this year. But,
Right.
Dan Quinn was still there. They could not do anything with Marcus Mariota. And even when Daniels was healthy, just didn't look himself. The ball was – they're just not moving the ball. They had, I think, like the second most primetime games this year, and they lost every single one of them. It was just sad. I mean, there was a couple that they held close. But, every time Washington especially early on in the year, I thought they were going to finish second place. So, yeah, Washington is my pick, at least. Again, number one is Atlanta, but right now, Washington, man, that was sad. I was rooting for them to do better this year.
That's a good pick, Chris. Good pick.
Yeah, and last but not least, Shannon, who was the most disappointing team for you?
Now, I'm probably going to get cussed out for this one, so you probably might look at me sideways, so get yourself ready. The team that disappointed me the most has to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they made the playoffs. I understand. But with all the backstage stuff going on in the locker room, the Nick Sirianni drama, the A.J. Brown, are they going to trade him? He wants the ball, reading on the sideline, not really caring. He's trying his hardest not to, pressure was bursting pipes with that young man. He was ready to tell everybody how he felt, but he didn't do it. Saquon Barkley being underutilized in the offense, the horrible game that Jalen Hurts had. What a game he had. They didn't know what they were going to do. They should have took the NFC. They should have took the NFC this year. They should have went back to the NFC Championship at least this year, and they didn't. They got a good defense as well too. It's like they really didn't lose any pieces, except it's crazy how your center retires and the whole squad goes with him. I don't understand how that went. Another Kelsey, by the way. I don't know how that happened. He retires and the squad just burns to crap, and I don't understand. They should have went further. My 49ers shouldn't have beat them in the wild cards. It shouldn't have happened, but it ended up happening. I don't know what Philadelphia is going to do. Are they going to trade A.J. Brown? Or what are they going to do with the pieces? Is Jalen Hurts the guy? Is Nick Sirianni the coach? What are we doing here? So Philadelphia's got to be my squad that was a bust this year.
Agreed.
Hey, maybe they trade him back to Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take him on New York. I think AJ on one side, Malik Neighbors on the other. I kind of like that a little bit.
He going to San Francisco. No, Brock throwing him the ball.
It's interesting. Does Mike Tomlin stay in Pennsylvania? Maybe if Philly starts off the year. Philly starts off the year a little rough next year. Sirianni gets fired. Next thing you know, Mr. Tomlin's out floating around out there, just throwing it out there.
I think he's
from Manzi's to Geno's.
He's going to coach in college.
No.
I just think he's done. I don't know if he's going to be back to coaching, honestly.
He'll sit out a year at
He's
least.
either going to be done and go coach in college, or he's done, period.
I don't see college, but pro. He's a pro coach. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Without a doubt. And moving on to the actual Super Bowl predictions. And we're just going to do some fun little stuff here first before we get into the meat and potatoes of it. Jason, who do you think's going to score the first touchdown of the game?
First touchdown of the game is going to be Kenneth Walker III. That Seattle offense is only going to move as much as Kenneth Walker moves. So I think he's going to get the first touchdown. I think they're going to get some passes down the field to JSN. And then I think they give it to Walker because in order to win this game, which is going to be a defensive battle, I believe that run game needs to start. And I think to get the jitters and the butterflies out of your stomach as a Super Bowl starting quarterback, both teams, I think they need to get the run game going because that kind of helps ease your tension. You get some plays under your belt. You hand the ball off. You don't have to do a lot of thinking. I kind of think that helps with the jitters. So watch that run game. But Kenneth Walker III, my first touchdown.
And Chris, who do you think scoring the first touchdown in this game?
Drake May with a rushing touchdown. I think that I think that New England will score first. I think that both teams, whoever gets the ball first, it'll be actually 2 3 and outs, and then New England somehow, one way or another, obviously we can't predict that, will drive down the field, maybe a huge play, and then get within the 7 to 5 yard line, and Drake May rushing TD.
Interesting.
All right. And Shannon, who do you think scoring first?
Man, Chris stole mine because that's what I was going to say. But now I got something else. This is why you're always in your bag. I think the very first score is not going to be anybody on offense. It's not going to be anybody on offense. I honestly believe the very first one is going to be from our kicker. And that's going to be from Andy Borgelis. He's going to get the field goal. 3-zip. I think that's what's going to happen right there. 3-zip. But I have one more. Just in case. I have one more. I don't think it's going to be the offense that's going to score. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be the first one scoring a defensive touchdown because Sam Darnold likes to throw picks. Sam Darnold likes to throw picks, but I think I'm going to go with the kicker on this one. I just wanted to dig Seattle because I hate them, but that's the reason why.
Let your hate flow.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a weird one. I think Kenneth Walker is going to carry the Seahawks on the first drive. It's going to get inside the goal line. It's going to be like 1st and goal from the 5. I'm going to say AJ Barner, Seahawks tight end, gets the first touchdown.
That's actually not a bad guess.
I think that's a solid shout.
I like it.
I'll back that. May or may not actually be putting money on that, but don't listen to me. Don't put money on things that I say because that's just not smart. And continuing on, Shannon, I'll throw this to you first. Who do you think is going to win Super Bowl MVP? And I do know that this might hint at who you think is going to win the Super Bowl too.
Who's going to win Super Bowl MVP? Obvious one is going to be a quarterback. You know, Drake is either going to win it or it's going to be Sam Darnold. Honestly believe that Stephon Diggs will be your Super Bowl MVP. I believe he'll be the number one. He'll be the number one guy. He'll be the number one option on the receiving spot there. I think that'll be Stephon Diggs. I want to give some love to the receiver spot there. I think Diggs is going to be the one to get the MVP.
And Chris, who do you think is going to win Super Bowl MVP?
Sam Darnold, 4 passing touchdowns, but that's going to lead into who I think is going to win. So Darnold, again, sorry to steal quarterbacks. There's only 2 of them, but 4 passing TDs.
And Jason, who do you think's winning Super Bowl MVP?
Hey, Smitty, if Diggs wins the MVP, does Cardi B come out there and give him the trophy?
Yes.
That would be great television.
She's gonna be there because I think she's coming out with Bad Bunny.
I'm sure she is. Although Stephon Diggs, I don't know, he probably got to give away a lot of tickets. All them baby mamas probably want to go to the Super Bowl too. So, but anyway, this is gonna be a defensive Super Bowl. Both quarterbacks are gonna probably be on their backs a lot. You talk about 2 stout defenses, 2 decent offensive lines, but it's gonna be really tough. Devon Witherspoon, I think, is going to be your Super Bowl MVP. I think he picks Drake May off a bunch of different times. I think he gets a defensive touchdown in this game. It is going to be a defensive game. I don't think we've seen a defensive MVP. I forgot to look that up, but I think
Dexter Jackson.
I was to say,
the last one.
Yeah, it was the last one. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a defensive player, and I'm going Devon Witherspoon is going to be your Super Bowl MVP. I think he gets some tackles. I think he gets a pick and a touchdown. Here we go. Defensive game today, guys.
Okay, I like that pick, and I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. I think Seattle's going to end up having to lean super heavy on the run game.
Wow.
That's not to say that JSN isn't going to have a good game. I think it's going to be tricky. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be it'll be a good matchup. I think JSN might be able to probably get the best of that, but by and large, Seattle's offensive line is a lot better. Still not that great. New England has a really stout defense, and I think that's going to show up more so in the pass game than the run game. And say Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. I think we're going to see Darnold have a couple silly interceptions, couple turnovers. That's going to ultimately cost it for him. And this will transition perfectly into who we think is going to win. I'm picking the Seahawks. I think Chris mentioned it earlier. The Patriots have played a pretty easy schedule this year. You could argue that Seattle's the best team they played all season. It's going to be too much for them. Huge props to Mike Vrabel for what he's been able to do in year one with the Patriots. I hate that they're already good and already back in a Super Bowl. They don't deserve it. They deserve to suck for a decade. But it is what it is. Jason, throwing it to you. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I know the Seahawks, I think they're favored 4.5 points here too. They have definitely stood the hardest test in the NFL this year, playing against probably some of the best teams in the NFL compared to the Patriots. So I think they're a little more battle tested. That defense in Seattle is back. The Legion of Boom no more. It is now the dark side of the boom. Those guys are phenomenal. I think this is going to be a defensive game for both teams. But give me Seattle. I think it's going to be 24-17. Seattle's defense does not give up more than 17.5 points in a game. So 24-17, I think Seattle's defense, again, scores a touchdown. Don't be surprised to see Rashid Shaheed run one back. There has never been a punt return in the Super Bowl. So we may have the first in this Super Bowl. It'll be interesting to watch. But it is going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a defensive game. And I don't know. I think Seattle's just way too much.
And Chris, who do you think's winning the Super Bowl?
I got the Seattle Seahawks. And I'll say Seattle's defense is strong. Drake May struggled in the snow against Denver. I understand the conditions, especially in the second half, were really bad there. But still, just did not look that great. He also threw a pick against the Texans. Those are two good defenses. Now they're playing against the number one defense in the NFL. I am probably going to be the outlier here. I think we're going to have a Seattle-Denver level situation. I have a 34-17 Seattle. Sam Darnold goes off, and I think
it's not even that bad.
Blown out. I mean, it's not that bad. I could have gone like 40-something, but I went on the lower end.
10. But oh Lord, yeah, that was 43-8 that game. That was a rough one. I remember that. That was fun to watch.
Man,
Nothing off with Mike in the comments. Appreciate you watching, Mike. And Shannon, to end off the return show for the Gridiron Address, who do you think is winning Super Bowl 60?
I want to start by saying that we're a bunch of dummies because the last defensive player to win defensive MVP in the Super Bowl, and I don't want to bring this back because we all know where we're going to go with this, was Von Miller in 2016.
Oh, Von Miller, yeah.
He was the last one. And yes, I know, Aaron, I know. That's why I was like, man, I didn't want to bring it up. I'm sorry.
But no,
yes,
thanks for the fact check.
I can't believe we didn't know that. But
yeah,
it is what it is. We're forgetting things. Don't worry. Carolina is good. And Denver lost, so that's cool. But with that being said, I hate them. I hate them with a passion. I hate them. And I don't want to see it happen. I seriously hate them. But they're going to blow it. They're going to freaking blow it. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to blow it. And this is why they're going to blow it. It's because the Carolina Tar Heels won yesterday. That's the omen. That is the omen. They won yesterday. And the Patriots are going to win it. It's going to be 23-13. The defense is going to go there. This is going to be the story of it all. Sam Darnold saw a ghost. He saw a ghost. He blew it. He friggin' blew it. Because he blew it last year. He blew it. And he's going to blow it today. Because I'm still hurt about how they did him in Minnesota. I'm still hurt about that because they talked about how wonderful of a quarterback he was and all the weapons that he has, and they hit Brock Purdy with this every single year, and they play that man like this, but they don't do it to Sam Darnold. I hope he blows it. I hope he does. 23-13. We got the Patriots winning. Tar Heels. They're gonna blow it.
And that'll do it for this episode of the Gridiron Address. Thanks y'all for coming on. It's a great day to be a Tar Heel, and I will see y'all next week probably. Let's